Did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 make you emotional? It made me emotional. Let's talk about that.
We.
And we're back.
So, how do we feel that the best MCU movie to come out within the last year or so? I mean, Spider-Man was pretty good, and so was Wakanda Forever. But and Ant-Man was better than than everyone said it was story-wise in terms of and like character-wise.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
You don't know about that one?
No, I expected way more.
You expected way more?
I think this is about the best MCU movie we've gotten since Endgame. Even if I like Spider-Man No Way Home more than Endgame, it's still, I don't think either of those held up to this movie in writing, filming, directing, and even the levels of acting that we got out of some of these actors. I think this is one of the best MCU movies, period, that we've gotten in the entire 15 years that the MCU has existed now.
Yeah. You know, I have a theory.
Well, and if you look at Spider-Man No Way Home without the nostalgia feels.
It's a very fast movie, but it's still very long.
And the only reason people like it, and the only reason a lot of the reason I enjoy the movie is because of that nostalgia and because of the way it makes you feel. Because especially us, all the movies that were coming out prior to those, we were kids.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
that's fair.
You got to look at Spider-Man No Way Home without the nostalgia.
It's in a culmination of childhood.
Yeah,
but
specifically for kids our age, which is
feel like
probably the target audience.
So the best MCU movies, I have a theory. So James Gunn's trilogy, it was all James Gunn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, then look at Black Panther. Black Panther was good. Same director. I mean,
I don't know. I thought the first one was far and away better than the second movie.
Oh, that's not even a contest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they had to rewrite that shit.
Yeah, there was a big glaring problem that was unavoidable just because of outside circumstances.
Well, and I don't know. I'm probably on the unpopular side of this opinion, that I love Chadwick Boseman as an actor, and every movie that he's ever been in, honestly, has been good. But I just think they should have recasted that character, to be honest.
As painful as it is, and knowing what he meant to people, I do think it would have been probably the most distinct way to go about it. Even if they found a way to multiverse it and have old man T'Challa.
I would have loved for him to obviously be there, but that's impossible. And
there's ways to honor him, but there's he would have wanted it to be recast.
The whole thing that was supposed to make you not get
Thunderbolt
sick.
Ross too.
Right.
So it's
the whole thing to make you not get sick and to be a superhuman being gets you sick. That doesn't make sense to me.
It seemed odd.
I was like, this is dumb.
It's not a good story.
No.
They tried their best, and
they did the best with what they had, but it was not good in my opinion. And I wish they just recast the character. I know I'm probably on the unpopular side of that opinion, but
I understand why they did what they did, but I think that it would have been more succinct to be able to tell a better story if they would have tried to find someone who could at least act like him. They don't have to be him, but at least act like that T'Challa.
Yep.
Yeah. But, cohesively with their stories, yes, Black Panther 2 had its issues, but in terms of, cohesiveness with the story, Spider-Man, the
went everywhere.
The Spider-Man trilogy that we had from the MCU was, it gelled, right? Yes, you had to watch some other movies to get what was going on in the third one and the second one, but honestly, it gelled. John Watson made his films gel.
He told the same story 3 times.
I mean, let me finish. But they don't really. No one really talks about. They talk about Winter Soldier and Civil War as a grouping, and then First Avenger, I have a lot of love for First Avenger, but like Civil War and Winter Soldier, you get talked about together a lot because it's like there's a through line there. There's the Russo brothers. So I think what makes Guardians of the Galaxy really strong was James Gunn and his ability to tell the story and like how he knew his characters, how he knew his story, where he wanted the stories to go, because he wrote and directed all 3 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Star Wars episodes 1 through 6 were developed by George Lucas, right?
Cohesive story.
Then 7, 8, 9, no.
Two different directors.
Two different directors that had
different ways of
different
going about a
visions.
story
Exactly.
from 30 years prior.
Exactly.
And have we talked? Didn't they announce a new Ray project?
Yeah, that it's
I
going
don't
to be
think we've
15
talked about that
years
on the
about the last
podcast.
year. We
Yeah.
haven't talked about any of the new Star
Yeah.
Wars stuff, really.
Yeah.
We sort of talked about Celebration and just kind of
Yeah, but
because that's how Celebration felt.
what sucks is that this is just injected like a standard of quality that I don't think is going to come back for at least another few movies, because they already have a bunch of them finished.
Right. I don't think we're going to get that level of quality in a very long time. I think it's going to be
until Kevin
until we
Feige
get a
can,
new character.
until Kevin Feige can take back the reins and say, "Stop it."
Well, and it just
Who
proves
took the reins from him, though?
I mean, there was apparently like 30-something rewrites of Ant-Man Quantumania.
But who was in charge of that? Because I
like
think it would have been someone way under him.
it was like Disney themselves, not even Marvel.
So what were they rewriting? then?
I don't know. I just, from like the sources I've been reading, there was like 30-something rewrites, and like they pressured the visual effects teams heavily, and like rushed them. Whereas with Guardians, they gave it basically an additional 2 years of development after the whole James Gunn getting fired fiasco.
Well, it's because he already had most of it written at that point as well.
Exactly. I mean, he had to change the Gamora stuff, obviously, but he had a lot.
And the Adam Warlock stuff twice.
Yeah.
He's changed it twice. The
But-
Cocoon was introduced 10 years ago.
right.
But still, like, he had, like, it was his pen to paper, with not a whole lot of interference.
I would say that, like, you use the term theory. I think it goes beyond theory at this point, in that we've
Yeah.
seen that these directors, when they are allowed to tell a story that they see fit, it goes much better. And we've seen this in comics themselves. When you allow someone to take a story and have it all on their own, it normally ends up better. Not everyone's a Garth Ennis, and they're like, I got to tell my own full story, and then rewrite a character, and everyone hates it.
I'm now throwing in a point. Zack Snyder.
It doesn't help that he's illiterate. He wanted to make Wonder Woman part Kryptonian, Connor.
I know. I just.
Well, see, I don't know why-
I don't want to get on the Zack Snyder point when I want to talk about how much James Gunn and how things can go for DC.
Yeah, I
And the
know.
future is bright.
I know. I kind
This
of
is me
wanted.
trying to be
I
an
kind of
adult.
wanted to make a joke.
Well, and then I don't get. This is why corporate America, would Hollywood, corporate America, same
It's
thing.
one or the other.
So it's like this is why Hollywood can never They can never be great because they're not willing to get past the corporate greed of things. Because you see these directors, for example, the Russo brothers, James Gunn, Jon Favreau. When you give them the reins of these movies that they've been allowed to write, look how much far and above those movies are compared to the rest of your franchises.
Right.
Like
These ones highlight because they were able to connect to each other because they had these people working on them.
And there's more of the directors in this long thing we call the MCU, but those were just the ones that came to my mind right at the start, and those are the ones that honestly they care about the movies that they make as well.
I think another good example of this is they tried that again with having a director that could successfully do these movies one after another with Taika Waititi.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And then they
say.
gave him a plate with a character that had a satisfied ending, and they were just like, "Have at it. Here's a character we want you to use in this story. Oh, but don't make it like the comic because that's too much. That's too scary. There's too much violence." And that's like, so what am I supposed to do? I don't know, make a movie. And then we got Thor: Love and Thunder.
And then they rushed visual effects, like the kid's floating head. Dude.
I still don't think that was the worst one in that movie. That's
It
the one
looked-
people
it
use
looked
in an
like-
example, but
it
it's
looked like
not the
clip art
worst.
from a PowerPoint presentation. I don't. I mean, it's not the worst, but bro.
I feel like the color grading was a bigger issue. because
Yeah,
it
the
was
color
just there
grading was a little
more.
weird. It was a little weird.
There's things that would be like super vibrant and other things that's just like, what am I looking at? It's easily, without a doubt, the worst MCU movie.
I'd love to go back and watch
think?
our review on it.
You think it's the worst MCU movie? Rethink that.
I think it's the worst made.
Rethink
Not
that
the worst
move.
written,
Black Widow?
but the worst made.
Rethink that move, son.
Black Widow?
I think Black Widow has more things. Well,
No,
there's
no.
3 that are very bad,
No.
and Thor 4 is really bad. People that are like, Dark World was worse. It's like, no, it wasn't.
I mean,
Dark World was not
Dark
worse.
World was at least tonally consistent with the first one. In many respects.
better directed and better cared for.
I mean,
Well,
It's
and
boring.
it was an
That-
earlier, like it was better cared for because it was an earlier movie on the building blocks of
They had to figure it out.
right. The MCU is getting to that point that the comics have been at for years of the fact that they could just throw things in there and then just say no to them after they're out and released, and then they'll release what's canon at a point. You know what I'm saying? Like they're getting to the point where they could just release movies and shows, and them just be like, yeah, this is bad, so it's not part of this.
Right, and it works. Just retcon it. You have time travel, for God's sake. People have been doing this for 50 years.
like,
Right.
I mean, they did it with X-Men, and then they
Then
shat the bed.
tanked it all a second time.
Exactly. Like they did it with X-Men, and then it shat the bed, and that was disappointing.
Arguably, they did it 3 times. With the recreation of Deadpool, it created another branching universe
That's fair.
that was completely separate in tone than the things that already existed.
I can't.
Well,
And then they
Deadpool
made
3's about to
Logan.
come out too.
And it's going to be on an entirely different level of things going on.
Yeah.
God damn it. God damn it.
I don't think comic book movies are that hard to make because people are like, oh, this is from this. It was made for kids. How do I make this for adults?
Well,
Treat it as serious.
I've been
like
thinking
James
about
Gunn did.
Kang a lot lately, especially since we saw Guardians of the Galaxy and how the villain in that was just way more terrifying and
And an even bigger
ruthless.
D-lister.
yeah, and but like they could have done Kang so much better if they just were like, if you've wanted him to be a giant multiversal threat, you would have stopped with this one of the variants being bad, and you would have been having Kangs not in 2 projects in the past couple years, but in all of them. You could have had him everywhere, and like had him just like continuously get worse and worse with his variants, and then we get that meeting at the end of
Okay, what is happening with
Quantumania.
Jonathan Majors, by the way?
He's, as far as I know, still in. Marvel
Okay,
hasn't
because
dropped
like
him.
I know like his agency dropped him.
Right. As far as I know, he's still contracted for Marvel.
Like, that's-
Marvel has not dropped him.
But I just imagine Kevin Feige fucking screaming.
Yeah, dude, the people above him that own Marvel, like as a corporate entity, were probably yelling at him to be like, "What are you going to do?" And then Kevin Feige shat himself.
And then he was like, "Hey James, how are you treating Ezra?"
It's like, what are you doing over there, bud? It's like, what are you gonna do with him? Which we don't have any word on that, but it sounds like they're gonna drop him as soon as this movie's over. They just want this Flash movie out. That's what it sounds like from DC.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
But I
Honestly,
don't know
they
what
might-
can do about Jonathan Majors.
honestly, if they were smart, they would just have the Flashpoint movie destroy the universe.
That would be the smartest thing to do.
Like, think about it, just to have him not be able to save it, and then he's like, in order to stop this, so you just have to
Except
end
that
this one. In order
Just
from this
start over.
spread to all these, they could learn that there's more universes than just theirs, and they could just be like, hey, in order to save the rest of them, we have to end this one, and then that's like a big
heroic sacrifice
Yeah.
thing. It would be the easiest way to
look.
endcap
Let us write
something.
your fucking movies for you,
Yeah,
okay?
Just let
Like-
people that have read these books before at least advise you on how these characters work and what they do. We can't tell the same story over and over again. We can't have the same villains over and over again. I get it.
Right.
But like, if you want a big villain that could be a major threat for an entire series of movies, use Ultron. Someone you've already
Ultron.
You've already established him. He's already there.
And then what if he's back? So
Ultron is one of the
That's
most
literally what
scary.
he does, though. He gets destroyed and comes back because he can live on in any piece of technology.
He might be
Ultron is
living
one of
in
the
an iPod
scariest
2G.
villains.
He's literally living on the inside of Vision, arguably. They have their own cop-out written for them. He was downloaded partially into Vision,
Yeah.
helping Vision become Vision before Jarvis was put in.
What if they make White Vision Ultron?
That's what I've
They
been saying
could.
since the ending of WandaVision.
They could.
It would be the easiest thing that they could do to
'Cause
create a villain.
He's all that's left.
And then it's so easy to.
It is.
I still think as soon as I saw that they announced that Kang was going to be their big villain, I laughed. Because it's Kang the Conqueror.
He's literally a weekend threat for the Fantastic Four alone.
Right.
Like,
He's been an Avengers level threat before. He's time travel. That's
I mean,
a big
yeah.
deal. But when you break it down, it's a
like,
weekend.
yeah.
I mean, arguably the best part of Ant-Man was Kang.
But even then,
like, especially since like Jonathan Majors is having all of his issues, I don't know how they're gonna go from here.
I still don't even know the status of what's actually going on because I've heard that
there have been repeals.
Yeah,
There've
there's
been
been
repeals, but
and
then
there's
also-
also been falsifications of stuff, and it's like I
But
don't know what's
then other
actually
people,
true.
then other people are saying, yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit, but other people are saying, no, he's not a piece of shit. I don't know. Like, that's so weird.
At the same time, there's things I'm hearing. It's like, yeah, I expect that he's an actor. I mean, he's famous. He's still just a person. Like assaulting somebody, that's a problem. Him just being an asshole, okay. There's limitations and margins that this works. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like Anthony Daniels,
Huge
absolute
asshole.
fucking tool.
Absolute horrible
but
human being.
we love him as C-3PO.
That's all we love him as.
Like
Because that's all
that's all he loves
do.
That's all he loves himself as.
He hasn't done anything else.
He literally he played,
got upset
He
that
played
he didn't play
C-3PO in a
C-3PO.
fucking board game.
He got bent out of shape when someone else was possibly going to do the voice of C-3PO in something. In like a video game online.
And then like there was body doubles, and they were like, "No, I'm the only one who can do his mannerisms." I'm like, and then like I'm just sitting there like reading that story. I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, dude."
And then he released the book. It's like, I am C-3PO. It's like, shut up.
I mean, for all the characters in Star Wars, that's the.
It's like, he's C-3PO. I love C-3PO. But the way that he talks about it, it's like, okay, buddy, you're not Chewbacca.
Right.
You're not Han Solo. You're not even R2.
R2, yeah, I was about to say, you're not even R2.
You celebrated when
wasn't he
Kenny
a-
Baker
wasn't he a-
died, you ass.
And then you mourned for him, later on.
Yeah, to make his book look better.
Fucking asshole.
He's a horrible person. But that's what I'm talking about. I kind of expect that because people are people.
Yeah.
There's limitations on how bad they can be and how much I would be willing to watch a movie with them in it.
I mean,
but seriously.
James Corden's show finally got canceled.
Right?
Fuck
Thank
yeah.
God.
Thank you.
He's
Fuck
been,
yeah.
like, what is it, for like the past 3 years, been losing $21 million every season
Yeah.
because no one watches.
Fucking
Who? What show?
James
fuck
Corden on
James
what is it,
Corden.
The Late Show?
Late Show.
Oh.
It's finally canceled.
The thick
The-
British dude.
Yeah, the chunky British guy.
Who just is
He's just
worthless.
He's a piece of shit.
He can't even act.
He fucking
has
like
no charisma.
And not only that, like apparently he's like one of the worst. Like if he comes into your restaurant, you fucking just get a manager and say, "Hey, can you bus him for me?"
Yeah, you pray and have someone else do it.
Because like he's a problem.
He's
Such
just a big old
like,
British a-hole.
fathead asshole.
Hmm.
Like not like here's something funny. Remember when like people were like talking about, "Hey, can we send Justin Bieber back to Canada?" Whenever he was having this kind of teenage crisis.
Who?
Justin
Bieber.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
During the World Cup, there was a wager between the Brits and the U.S. whenever they were doing
Oh
the
yeah,
match.
it was
That
whoever wins.
whoever wins, whoever loses keeps James Corden.
Guess who lost?
We did.
Didn't we beat the British?
I don't remember if we.
I thought that was the whole meme is that we beat the British, and people were like making George Washington memes. Because I remember that's when I started seeing a whole bunch of, what the fuck is a kilometer?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we're 20 minutes in. We need to talk about this movie.
Oh shit! Really?
Oh
God.
So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, really well made, really good, really emotional.
It's a payoff for all these characters that we've gotten.
Yep.
Between two movies.
Yeah.
And the little bits of story that we got in like Endgame and Infinity War.
Right.
It's a true and a culmination movie.
It kind of makes me afraid that they're gonna make another one.
Right.
I really hope not.
And we know that I knew that that's going to try to happen, but it's never going to be the same. Even if they got James Gunn back.
Right. Because I feel like that would be like the first thing is James Gunn would be like, no, I said I would make 3. I'm not going to make more. And then they would try to go with another director, and then it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
They
It's
get
my
Taika
big fear.
Waititi.
That was, he said that he wouldn't touch the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Out of
Right.
respect for James.
Yeah, when they fired James Gunn, he said, I'm not doing it.
Right.
And all the actors are like, I'm not doing the movie unless James Gunn's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's.
So they know what'll happen if they make a 4th one. They learned what happened when they fired James Gunn. They're going to have to face that music too.
Yep. But no, really well, really good. I was really Wyatt kind of scared me going into it the day before because he's like, I don't know if I could do it again.
Yeah, I watched it on Sunday and Monday, once before with with my brother and once with them.
Yeah.
The first time watching it was a lot harder than the second time.
Well, yeah.
It's
I mean, there's a lot of really big emotional beats. It basically tells Rocket's story.
Which we haven't gotten on the screen.
It's sad.
yeah.
It's so sad, but it's also so good.
Like there's a line that in like because Nebula as a character is always like, my father tortured me and blah 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 blah.
Right.
She goes, this is worse than what Thanos did to me. About Rocket's thing, because they go into Rocket's memory and start watching stuff, which is effed. Or they get the
research file.
Yes, they get that not memory. But yeah, she was like, wow, this is worse than what.
And then Rocket figures out that he's actually a raccoon.
Right, yeah, he finally gets the recognition of being like, I am a raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that is, but I am one.
And then the visual effects were, I think, pretty good
The
throughout
best
the whole movie.
that we've had in a while.
It's amazing.
Honestly,
what happens
better
with
than all of
composite
She-Hulk.
shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how they made a giant pig made out of half it looks like half animatronic look better than She-Hulk. Like a character that's meant to be like a CGI character that's the main character of her series.
Part of the issue with
pig looks better
She-Hulk
than it.
was the Uncanny Valley, right?
All they had to do was make her big and green.
Yeah. But, I mean, with the Hulk, he looks enough like a creature to where the Uncanny Valley is kind of off. But with She-Hulk, she looks enough, like, human enough to where it's...
I don't think that's the problem. Though.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, and also piss poor animation, but...
I think that's the bigger problem. It's like poorly rendered and poorly looked at. I don't think the Uncanny Valley is as big of a problem because it's just a big green woman. All she has to do is be big and green.
I don't know.
And have astronomically long hair.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that, like...
Her hair would grow with her. I mean...
Like, that happens with the Hulk.
Right.
But the Hulk also has his own haircut versus what Bruce Banner's haircut is, and it'll shift between those two things, and it's very weird to me. Like, Thor Ragnarok, like, Mark Ruffalo has his regular Mark Ruffalo hair, but when he's the Hulk, it's like the shaved gladiator look that he had throughout the movie, and it's like, excuse me, how does this work?
Well,
I
maybe
have a question.
They don't want Hulk with... Imagine Hulk with Mark Ruffalo's haircut.
Even then, though, hear me out. How does he have shaved sides and Mark Ruffalo has, like, regular hair?
I don't know. I kind of want to see Hulk with Mark Ruffalo's haircut, though, now. Just giant fro that's green.
I mean, they did the same with Edward Norton.
But his hair stayed more consistent than a
A
gladiator
little more.
haircut. No, that's a lot more consistent between, like, side shaved like he's already gladiator and just a dude.
I haven't seen the Edward Norton Hulk in a while, but I could have sworn.
He has like a bowl cut almost.
Which still
like
looks
it's parted
it
down the
matches
middle.
up more.
Oh, like, kind of. It's like a. It's.
I thought his was more well done than that.
No, it's very
Was
messy.
it? Okay.
It's like shaggy. It's like a shaggy haircut.
Okay. I'll have to rewatch
And then
that.
Edward Norton's is like a thing.
I still think that makes more sense than gladiator cut for Hulk
Yeah.
and regular hair for Mark Ruffalo.
Maybe it's like save files.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
How
if the
does it work?
If the Hulk gets a haircut, it just saves that
How we get on-
preset for
How'd
Hulk.
we get here? She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
The CGI in this movie.
The only times I felt a little bit taken out was when some of the Adam Warlock flying bits, but other than that,
Have you seen the memes of the Adam Warlock flying in? Like when we first see him flying to nowhere, like have you seen the memes where it's like, bro, there's 5'4" Latinas at the party. It's like me AF. It's just him.
It's just him flying through space.
Yeah.
Crazy on Me playing in the background.
Right. Boom, 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 boom,
But,
boom.
like, the opening
Missed opportunity to have David
the
Bowie.
opening scene of like Rocket. That's when I knew this movie was gonna be fantastic. Honestly, it like just like how different it was from a lot of the other stuff.
Well, this is
the two other movies.
right. I
Yeah.
feel like in the first two movies, like we're opening
Yeah.
with them fighting almost. Like
Yeah,
Star Lord's
or-
fighting, or like he's like singing and he's getting, but it immediately goes into a fight. Like we have some downtime in this movie. I feel like before the eventual Adam Warlock showing. up.
Yeah. Like
The first one starts with him dancing and like kicking a few rats, and then
Right.
we get the title card, and then those dudes show up. So it's
Mhm.
I'd say like the time frame is about the same in terms of like fun song piece to more melodramatic song piece to
Right.
combat.
Right.
I think the time frame's about the same ish. First one's a little faster
Yeah.
because in this one it's not so much like directly into fighting as much as drunk Star-Lord passing out.
yeah.
that freaking
The dummy.
the dummy, bro. Like that video that you were talking about came up on my For You page of James Gunn just not getting the joke.
Yeah.
God.
James Gunn said in his office he had the dummy sitting there and people would come in and scream. And like Chris Pratt was, they would what? And James Gunn, they would come in and scream. He just kept going back and forth, and it took like a minute before James Gunn got it.
And then he really got it. And then he's
Yeah.
like,
God, that's the perfect sequel to the come on our back joke.
It is.
Parks and Rec.
It's the same. It's the same vein.
It's the same vein, but they got it a lot quicker.
I would love to see like where he had that thing set up, if it was just in like the chair in front of his desk or something.
Just on the floor.
Yeah.
Just sitting in the corner.
Dead Star-Lord.
Dead Star-Lord.
I like to think that they
Passed
have
out drunk Star-Lord.
yeah, Star-Lord in one chair, actual Chris Pratt in another chair, just next to each other.
Guess.
He's just sitting
Guess.
there passed out.
Yes. And you have to feel the heartbeat, and you're like, okay.
That's the thing. The dummy also
Only weighed like 35 pounds.
35 pounds and it has a pump in it, so that way it looks like it's breathing.
Shut the fuck. No.
That's true.
That's crazy.
Mm.
It's amazing what happens when you use an actual practical effect and it looks really good.
Yep. Anyway, we get on. Adam Warlock shows up. He kicks everyone's ass. And he's about to kill Drax. Drax almost dies like 9 times in this movie, and it's
Yeah.
really emotionally damning on me. Like I don't know why. Like this is like
It's because we went into this movie expecting him to die.
we expected
him or
someone
Rocket.
someone gray to die because of the title card.
Right.
Like
Everyone was expecting at least one of 3 or all 3 people to die in this instance of like Drax, Rocket, or Star-Lord. And I think the payoff was stronger because,
None of them died.
yeah.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. None of them died.
Yeah, no one dies.
No one dies.
Well,
a few.
no protagonists die.
No protagonists die.
Yeah.
a lot of people die.
A lot of
people die.
A lot of people
There's
die.
a lot of dead
But
people.
there's not a protagonist.
There's
that
a
dies.
lot of emotional charged deaths that happened.
A lot of manimal death.
Sad.
They're all manimals.
Sad clown.
I'm not over the sad clown picture that was in the back of that house.
No.
It was like a sad bulldog clown painting. And I want like a full picture of it because I want to know more about that specifically.
I mean, all those were practical effects.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to know what it was like on set for that day for like all the actors to like be reacting to that firsthand, like all the animal people.
It's like this. I look at how good it looks.
Mm-hmm.
When you use a practical effect, even in an environment where you add CGI things.
Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing what happens when you put in slightly more effort with the same amount of budget.
Yep.
I'm not going to get over that because it's just like, this is in space.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these crazy, weird, random things that happen and exist and go on. And there's still space to actually physically make these props because that's what would make it look better and more believable and have an environment that the viewer can be invested in.
Yep.
And that's all it would take to help a movie like Ant-Man 3.
Mm-hmm. They could have done. I think they did use some, but like
some.
they could have done more practical
Done
effects.
so much more.
Because they, especially with all the weird but simple monsters they had in that movie.
Right. Like, there's things that like impossible to do with practical effects. Like you couldn't make the jelly monster or anything like that. But the big eye dude, you could have done most of him without the big headpiece.
The glow, the light bulb thing.
Lamp
yeah.
guy.
The one we
Or
all fell
even
in love with.
MODOK. They built a model to base the lighting off of, like with the mask on. But think about what if they did more with that.
Yeah.
That was a possibility because if they can make Baby Yoda, they can make MODOK.
I mean, the whole point of MODOK was that he was just fucking hilarious.
That doesn't mean
Look at
they
me.
couldn't have made him look
Such a
good.
dick.
though.
I know. I'm such a dick.
They had the opportunity to make him look good, and they just kind of
Yeah.
peed on it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He's also a higher villain on the ranking list to me than like Kang, because MODOK has actually done something.
Yeah.
MODOK has done a lot.
Yeah,
Like not some. Like he's done a lot.
he's actually the villain in actual stories.
Yeah.
Then there's Kang.
He's an actual Avengers level threat. Like
The whole idea of AIM, and introducing
Mhm.
that, having a new uniting enemy, kind of like how Hydra was for a long time. I
Yeah.
digress. Guardians of the Galaxy pays off on having these like the sovereign threat from the previous movie, as well as showing us Adam Warlock in the actual threat that he can be, and what they were in that movie, that a god had to intervene to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
And then showing off what made them. The High Evolutionary, a D-lister villain from the Fantastic Four, who hasn't really ever been used in a while.
Like, he felt more menacing.
He was way more menacing to me personally than
Kang?
Kang. But I think he was like that was honestly actor choice because he did like really good job of acting deranged. I
think
feel like
The writing also helped, though.
that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was just like every time he was on screen, he did a really good job of like acting that being that maternal thing and the earlier parts of the movie to Rocket, and then to being like, oh my god, this guy's insane.
Yeah.
Right. That, like, I made you.
You're my son.
Look at the things you can do. It's
Right.
amazing. I helped make you.
Do you order a mistake?
And then just being
trash!
yeah, then just being upset that
You
he's
are
a
a
thing.
trash
and-
panda. Literally.
It's like, how could you understand something that I couldn't see and then have it work? And then how come I can't create anything that's as inventive as you?
Right. Which is the whole reason. That's the whole point of this movie is that he wants Rocket back so he could study his brain.
Which he can also do without killing him, but I know he doesn't care about that.
No.
He could have scanned his brain in like 5 seconds with the technology he has. I'm just saying. Which does stand to the point of he's just about cruelty.
Yep.
Which is the whole thing that Sonic.
Sonic?
They kept calling him a hedgehog earlier in the movie, and that's all I can think of.
Sonic.
Which, how does Sylvester Stallone character know what a hedgehog is?
How do all of them know what every other
Sylvester
Earth
Stallone's
animal
ca-
is
Syl-
Except
for
a
a
raccoon.
Like, why is a raccoon?
Sylvester Stallone's character is a human.
He's not from
He's
Earth,
not
though.
from Earth.
He's not?
No.
There's humans out there that aren't from Earth.
I know, but like,
Well, how does he know
Like the
what a
guy,
hedgehog is?
like what's his name? The Yondu replacement. What's his name?
Kraglin.
Kraglin. Yeah, he's human.
He's human, but he's not from Earth.
Right.
oh. How's
Because he didn't know what Christmas was.
fair? Fair.
There's just humans because it's easier to write.
I mean, does that make him like Xandarian or something? Don't know.
They
And
could be literally anything. Like,
yeah,
I'm
all
being
of Z- yeah.
serious. Like whatever they identify as could be completely separate things under the concept of the Nova Corps. And is that
Well,
was
they call him Terran.
Terran?
Like Terran from Terra,
which is Earth
which is Earth.
in Latin, I think.
I mean, Terra means Earth in Latin, like
Yeah,
round.
because
Right.
that's what they call Star-Lord in
the first Guardian-
in
yeah,
the first
he's-
Guardians of the
yeah.
Galaxy.
Yeah.
It's Terran.
Okay.
So I don't know.
One way or another, the point stands is that he may be human, but that don't mean much.
Humans are everywhere.
They're literally everywhere for some reason.
When you
even the High Evolutionary looked human.
right.
But he's evident that he is much older.
Well, when you put in the facts of like actual science, the stuff we're made out of is so common.
Right.
In the universe.
The idea, though, is us looking like that.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
we're carbon-based life
we're
because carbon's
carbon-based,
everywhere.
but at the same time, how did they evolve and we evolved to look exactly the fucking same?
It's a big universe. I mean,
that's not how that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Star Trek has the same question. It's easier just
Like,
to go
why does Spock have 2 stomachs but also looks enough like us?
That's what I'm saying. It's easier just to go past it.
Yeah,
It's one of the little things you just have to. Okay. Anyway,
like 2 stomachs. I mean 2 hearts.
like there's the character that's works for Orgo Corp, the rat catcher.
yeah.
The character's name, I believe, was Ura, like Urra.
Mhm.
That's what I remember in the credits.
Yeah.
It's just a red person with contact lenses.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just a human.
Well, even the Sovereign are just gold people.
Gold people, synthetic people. So when you break it down, I guess he made them in his image,
Yeah.
just gold.
Well, and then he tried to make this new people that were just gray human people.
Pretty much, yeah. Or they're. I don't understand what they are. It's described that they might be partially animals that just look more human, like the children.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of don't understand what's going on there, to be fully honest.
Maybe he just kept evolving them.
Something.
Right.
It's easier to hire a bunch of children, give them white wigs, and be like, go.
Yeah.
Instead of having more CGI. Well, not CGI. Practical effects, masks, and prosthetics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's probably important detail. There was a lot of cages full of children.
There was.
And a lot of animals in cages.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cages.
A lot of cages.
The whole ship was mostly cages. There was a whole trap scene and stuff like that, and Groot, you can see the difference of Groot being his own thing and Groot being raised by essentially
Rocket.
Star-Lord and Rocket.
Yeah. Which I really liked. I really liked that. I kind of was like, that whole thing like made me get over the face. Like Groot's head. Like,
to me, the head wasn't as big of an issue. It's just his body looks proportioned funny.
You think? I mean, I think he's more...
Stocky.
He's definitely more short and stocky than OG Groot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something just felt off. Maybe it was the head. Maybe it's just the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
One way or another.
The Groot at the very, very end of the movie
King
looked
Groot.
amazing.
We finally got,
You mean Alpha Groot?
King Groot.
It's King Groot.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never heard Alpha Groot before.
I've heard everyone call it Alpha Groot, but okay.
I've been seeing King Groot.
Well, you've been saying King Groot, but like everyone online's been calling it Alpha Groot.
The hell is Alpha Groot?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've
But
always heard King Groot is like the big beefy one.
yeah, I think that's what they called
There's
him.
Kaiju Groot,
Yeah, Kaiju Groot.
which was funny as hell.
Yeah. I like how they just said, we're like, kaiju. Where'd they learn that from? Like, that word.
Star-Lord probably watched a lot of monster movies as a kid.
But to him to know the word kaiju, that was another thing.
But kaiju might also be I don't know. I mean, he's gone back to Earth once.
For a battle.
For a
and
battle.
then got on the ship and left.
Fair.
It's like the RoboCop reference.
Mm-hmm.
RoboCop came out in 1987. Star-Lord left Earth between 83 and 85. He calls the High Evolutionary RoboCop.
Yeah.
It's little things.
The problem with continuity.
Alpha Groot.
But yeah, so everyone goes on the big ship because Peter is on the big and Groot are on the big ship, but then Peter and Groot get off the big ship. And then everyone else is on the big ship, and then Peter and Groot have to go back with Gamora which Gamora is like a part of the Ravagers now. That's pretty important. She's like Queen Ravager lady.
And
we finally get to see Sylvester Stallone do something except yell at Yondu, which was pretty cool. And we get to see the sorcerer guy. What's his name?
I just learned that King Groot is only a name. It comes from one specific thing and was referenced in the comic, but isn't actually a thing and doesn't have any true history in comics. Well, Alpha Groot's just Groot.
but big.
Yeah. Well, no. Like, it just says, when I looked up Alpha Groot, it just gives me Groot.
Oh.
Like, I can't find anything else. It's just Groot.
Okay.
Earth 616 Alpha Groot. It's just Groot. That's all I can find.
Okay.
The extraterrestrial bark that he was born with makes him invulnerable to most projectiles and even fire. Oh, wait, nope, that's just a normal Groot thing. I've got nothing. I don't know why he's called Alpha Groot.
Know. That's all
I've got
all
nothing. Alpha Groot's just Groot, apparently.
I don't know. Yeah,
What's the sorcerer guy's name?
Oh, the one that's like part of the Guardians?
Yeah.
No idea.
Well, we got
Not
to
gonna
see
lie,
him
I don't remember
in
any
use.
of the names of the original guys.
We got to see him in use though, which was cool. Like of him being like an infantry, like everyone get
instead
in
of
here.
just
Yeah,
sparkly bits and
instead of
showing
just
a sign.
emojis.
And we also got the robot back again.
Yeah,
Which was it, Miley Cyrus again?
I don't know.
I didn't see her name
hear
in the
Miley
credits, but I
Cyrus.
wasn't paying attention.
Miley Cyrus
Apparently-
is kind of the last name I look for.
Right.
Um,
But yeah, they were like the original,
Guardians of the Galaxy in the comics. Yeah.
or at least older versions of the characters or team,
right.
which we never got a payoff on from the post-credit scene.
I was really expecting
The
to
second
have
movie.
a old school Star-Lord helmet
That's what I
appearance
was really
because
thinking
of
was going to
the
happen.
suits. Like I was
Right.
really expecting that old like the black helmet for before they changed it because of the movie.
Like that big,
Yeah,
very Star Wars-looking helmet,
Right.
which predates Star Wars.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was expecting that with the new suits and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
why
I was
why
really
the hell hasn't
expecting
he gotten himself a new mask? It's been long enough.
James Gunn actually was asked about this, and he said they left in a hurry.
Fair.
And it's just like, you're telling me he doesn't have one on the ship when he goes into space?
that. Which I love the new ship.
I do like
I
the new
would
ship.
like. I don't know the name if they even have a name for it.
I'm sure it does.
Which also he had it in Avengers,
but
which
then
was a continuity error.
in Endgame?
in
Yeah,
Endgame.
he had it.
Because it was smashed in Infinity War, wasn't it?
It was either smashed in Infinity War or smashed in Guardians 2.
I couldn't remember. I know it got smashed at one point, but I couldn't remember
Yeah.
where.
So that's a continuity error.
Or he just got a new one.
Or yeah, a new one between.
He
But
just had
why
Rocket
the
League.
hell did he not have it?
That's everyone's asking that,
that's
and
the
all
reason
that's what the
we're-
thing that I just gave a reason for. That's a bullshit answer that James Gunn pulled out of his ass at the last
They
second.
left in a hurry.
They left in a hurry. It's in his desk at home in his apartment. It's like, it's because you didn't write one, because then it would have been a question, and it's still a question for the ending or the later scene when he gets stuck in space.
And it expands.
Yep.
Like a balloon.
Which that's how I knew that there's no way that he was dead, because it was too funny looking. As soon as like, oh, they're gonna kill him in space, and then the face swelled up, and I was like, oh, he's gonna live.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I was really like, you're not gonna do that right now, and the most over a Zune.
Yeah.
He's not gonna die right now.
Over.
I mean, he would do a lot for his music, but you're not gonna kill
like
this
if
guy.
it was one of the
I mean, he's almost died for his music on multiple.
I mean, if
Right,
it was one
so
of
it
the
still works. They're
if
not
it was
gonna
one of the
actually kill him.
mixtapes, maybe.
Even then, though, because this one was given to him by Yondu,
Fair.
which is a very equivalent parental figure.
No, I was just like, they're not gonna. I mean, like, he's done a lot for his music and almost died a lot, but like, he's not gonna. They're not gonna actually kill the character over it. Is what I thought. Because I was like, no, you're not. You're not doing this.
I thought if he was going to kill somebody, it would have been that moment, because that's when we were lured into a false sense of security. But it was still a rug pull.
I was about to be very upset. But I say that every time someone almost dies. I just want everyone to be happy.
I mean, honestly, like the most emotional scene I had was whenever Rocket's friends die.
That was rough.
That was sad.
I found it a lot worse when, like, Rocket's, his heart's a seizing, his lungs are wheezing, and he's on the table, and then, like, he goes into, like, the ethereal.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
Where he's like, "Can I come?"
And she's like, sure.
"Yeah, but not yet."
That was the part that
Right.
got me, because I was like, okay, he's going to die. I was expecting that. And it's like, you're a bitch.
But not yet.
You guys suck.
Dude, the fucking walrus just waving. I was like, "You
Bye.
dick! You're an asshole!" Like,
Chiefs.
and like, how did they make us like Floor, this terrifying albino bunny spider? Dicks. You're a dick, James Gunn.
We love you.
It's amazing what happens when you have a director who cares.
But yeah, and then Rocket like just tearing his face up. Just
literally
tearing
rip
his
the face
up.
off of
But
which inevitably also led to him rediscovering himself and giving himself new powers, or the High Evolutionary, that is.
mm-hmm.
So that was, it comes full circle-ish. And then Rocket's gravity boots that were stated at the beginning of the movie that, was a throwaway thing.
Right.
And then comes in handy because it goes against the gravity powers that the High Evolutionary gave himself.
Yeah.
Which I found fun.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I like the use of Chekhov's gun when I'm least expecting it.
And then he says, then we finally get the name Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah. In a very corny, that's
Yeah.
the weirdest part of the movie to me. My name's Rocket. Rocket Raccoon. It's like, excuse me? That was the weirdest way to put that, but okay.
And like, that's the first time we haven't gotten his whole name yet. It's just been Rocket.
No one's ever said Rocket
Squirrel.
Raccoon. They've called him Squirrel. They've called him Badger. They've called him Trash Panda.
Well, we got to talk about the kid who played Adam Morlock. I thought he did pretty decent for what
Yes.
he
What
had.
he was given, yeah.
For how much parts he has in that movie, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he did good for like, and like I like how they explained the reason why he was, one, so young, and two, like, dumb. It's like he was literally born like last week.
You took him out early.
You took him out early. So like he's already like invincible. So like, what if they left him in the cocoon for the whole time?
Right.
Like,
He'd be unstoppable.
yeah.
The god that he is in the comics.
Wasn't he the one? He's the one who brought everyone back from the snap. No, Nebula was. He was the first snap. Then Nebula was the actual snap that mattered, right?
I think something like that.
I know he had the glove and snapped in the Infinity Gauntlet series. Like, I know that's a thing that happened. But
I know he also has a stone in his forehead. He's the original one to have a stone in his forehead. Then Vision came along.
Then Vision, you robot bitch, android. But yeah,
I did really like the scene where Drax was like did his dad thing.
well, you know what got me really good is that you weren't born to be a destroyer. You were born to be a father. I was like, oh, here, man, here, and the heart feels like that got me.
And the fact that Nebula actually grew emotions.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good. I don't know if they were to do a fourth one. I don't know what they would do.
They'd have to start out with the
At
new
all.
team entirely. The only way you could go forward is to use Rocket.
Yeah.
And even then, you're going to have an overpowered Groot, a dude that finally has Yondu's powers. I don't even know what the child's capable of. And
then Adam Warlock.
Superman.
Yeah. You have the most overpowered team in the universe, literally now.
It's like you have the one team that would be capable of doing just about anything.
You had the
Except shrinking.
you have the, you
Right.
have the team that would have beaten.
Well, and honestly,
Literally.
you
A raccoon with a
They
gun,
even-
a
they
giant
even
tree,
made
and a child.
they even made fun of that in the last scene. He's like, "All right, guys, I can handle this. I think myself. Y'all can take a 5-minute break."
Yeah, you guys can chill.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah, it's like they know what they did.
They know what they made. They made God as a group of 5 people. Like,
It's like this is what happens when you also create a. Same thing happens in comics. You make a story with a team, they get super powerful, and then you have to install a bigger threat, and then it's just like, but they already saved everything.
right.
What could be bigger?
There's always a bigger fish.
Gosh. Any other thoughts?
We're just gonna see the MCU go downhill from here. It's gonna be new stories in different ways, but it's never going to have the same kind of emotional climaxing.
Not unless they start completely over.
There's no way that they could have the same kind of payoff.
Nope.
I was gonna say I cried more for a CGI raccoon than I did for the entirety of just Iron Man's existence.
Yeah.
I mean, the most efficient.
I honestly cried for Iron Man because I knew what it meant that he was dying. Not that.
That was the
moment
moment that the MCU changed.
I knew that there was, and it was really emotional because we went and saw Iron Man in kindergarten, and we were seniors in high school for that movie. It was just a really emotional time for me in general, and then to see the whole MCU like end basically.
I was gonna say, first MCU movie I actually saw in a theater and not like on a Blockbuster DVD was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
I never watched one of them before that in a theater.
Really?
I remember my dad taking me to see Iron Man and Hulk, and then I probably didn't see another one in theaters for a while after that because I remember watching Captain America at home and Thor at home.
I was gonna say Captain America was the one that I really wanted to go to when it came out.
It was honestly probably Avengers. It was the first one I saw again after Iron Man and Hulk, but they came out the same year.
Right.
But yeah. So, but yeah, great movie. Good job.
It's going to be a long time before we get anything near it again.
Yeah.
It's time to suffer through a few other projects.
Let's just hope that
Let's hope
Daredevil
Secret Wars
Born
is
Again
good.
is good.
I'm gonna have high hopes for Secret Wars.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. They're going to introduce
Secret
all
Invasion.
these. Yes. Oh, Secret Invasion.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Secret Invasion I hope is good.
Yeah.
Because I like the story that
Sorry.
they have in the comics, and they're going to change it completely.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Secret Wars is a movie. It's going to go downhill.
I have high hopes for Secret Invasion, and then I have high hopes. I want to see how Armor Wars turns out.
And I want to see the second season of Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one too.
I was going to say, Loki is about the show that I'm more excited for, probably, just because it's like, how weird are you guys going to get this time?
And I kind of want to see how they do the new Captain America movie.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Just because there's a whole lot that's going into that. Is it going to be good? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like Captain America comics.
Honestly, I mean, Chris Evans has been playing a lot of villains. He could come back and they could do the whole Hydra thing.
I don't know if they do that.
He's been playing a lot of villains lately.
I don't think it means shit.
But so he's been getting his practice in. Just saying.
I think he's doing that just because he played Goody Two Shoes forever.
He wants to get his range.
But like imagine.
If they do that, I'm done. I will leave a theater if he comes out and plays a villain. Like evil Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Like, well, there goes $14.
So yeah, we have a lot. We have a long ways to go.
Thunderbolts is coming. Daredevil and Blade are about the ones that I'm most excited for that we have nothing for yet.
Nothing for.
Yeah. Oh, and Deadpool 3. It has Wolverine
And we
in
only
it. How
got that
bad can it be?
And we only ever got that first teaser so far, and
Right.
that comes out next year, don't it?
Does it?
It might
Or
get
2020.
delayed due to the writer's strike, though.
True.
True, that's going on right now. I forgot about that.
I was going to say, that's why everything's halted right now. Blade's halted production. Anything Marvel is essentially halted production unless it's already
All I
been
know is that
filming.
Blade is automatically going to take a mark down if the Black Knight's not in it, or the Dark Knight, whatever.
Or
is in it.
Black
Black
Knight.
Knight.
If he's not referenced in any capacity.
Because that was the best part of Eternals.
Literally
was
the best part of
Kit
Eternals
Harington.
was a
Jon
post-credit
Snow-
scene
Jon Snow was the best part of Eternals.
with Mahershala Ali's voice.
with not
off
even
screen.
him. Yeah, just his voice.
Just him off screen, for God's sake.
God, it's like Black Adam. The best part of the movie was something that'll never happen ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Eternals is definitely still the worst, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It helped marginally.
Yeah, it did.
I was gonna say
We
if
should
I-
make a ranking, like even if
Logan's
we do it,
gonna be
it's not going to be long enough for a podcast, but we should do our rankings from.
Oh, I think we're
worst to
probably
best.
going to get stuck on it, and it'll take an hour to get through.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. We did this.
That'd be a good
That
episode.
might be a next episode.
yeah.
Make the tier list set up.
MCU ranking.
Just pull a poster for every
including
MCU.
shows.
Including shows.
Including shows.
Are we including all Netflix stuff?
In continuity.
We don't know what is and isn't continuity right now.
Let's just do
There isn't like an
actual
official.
let's just do the main MCU.
We'll just
thing.
include them anyway.
Okay.
Even
not?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Well, that
Well, that
one
was said
they actually
no.
tried their best to put in though, and they're just maybe bringing characters out of it into the MCU. So if that's in there or not, one way or another. If we're including the Netflix shows, might as well include it.
But I've never seen like the majority of the Netflix shows. I think I've only watched Daredevil.
Are you kidding?
Really?
You've never watched Daredevil?
I said I've only watched Daredevil.
Or sorry,
You've never
Punisher.
watched Luke Cage?
No, I've never watched Punisher, and I've watched the first 2 episodes of Luke Cage, and then I watched the first 3 episodes of Jessica Jones and the first episode of Iron Fist.
Iron Fist doesn't get much better.
No.
Costume-wise, it does.
But also,
And then I've never watched an episode of Punisher.
Never an episode of Punisher.
you would love the Punisher.
It's like it's like probably like the top 3 of those.
What's the other? I mean, Daredevil's
Daredevil's
probably
top.
one.
Yeah, Daredevil's number 1.
Yeah.
I think Jessica Jones is also up there.
I like Jessica Jones' story.
I think it's better written than the other 2 shows. Luke Cage, it felt like they phoned it in to a certain degree.
Yeah, that's true.
And Iron Fist was really dry.
Yeah, it was just bad.
It's like you chose a really action-packed character.
That's the only one I
like,
didn't.
imagine if they made Shang-Chi, but like if it was episode 3 and only the political parts of episode 3. So it's just like negotiations between the Mandarin and the Hidden Realm. That's the whole movie. There is no actual fighting. There's like 3 fight scenes. But the rest of it's like,
And he's supposed to be the best martial artist, and yeah.
like Iron Fist is made to be fighting people, and they didn't have as much fighting. It's like, y'all done screwed up, son.
What's up, son?
Interesting. But yeah, so that's why I was like, let's keep it to just the MCU. But if you want to include those,
Oh
we
yeah,
can.
I think it's fair.
And I've never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Captain Carter.
Other than the first.
Oh, you haven't watched Captain?
Other
that
than the
one's- that one's
Other
worth
than the
it.
first 2 seasons, you're not missing much.
Because I know they like.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's even those first 2 seasons.
Well, yeah.
They-
Their introduction of MODOK is actually kind of interesting.
And then I know Ghost Rider's in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot they had MODOK.
Yeah, Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes was in it for a little bit. We also get one motorcycle one, but we have no clarification on who it was. It was Danny Ketch or Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Darkhold.
The Darkhold's in it.
Yeah. Completely separate looking.
Yeah. Oh, probably. Yeah,
Yeah, because
obviously.
that's
I
when
think
they
that
broke-
show's
because
honestly
that-
been forgotten about by Marvel execs.
Pretty
That's
much.
Well, it's you know why? Because Kevin Feige and the executive of Marvel TV,
They said it wasn't canon anymore, didn't they?
they were not friends.
No. But it's also worse than a CW show, so.
Well, all the CW shows started off really good. I think. Like season 1 of Legends of Tomorrow was like one of my favorite seasons of all of the shows.
That
combined.
I would agree with.
Yeah, the Flash season 1
And
was
then
good.
Flash season 1
like
through
all
like
the
5
season,
were
all of
good.
the season 1s or like the beginning seasons were great.
And
Wasn't
then
season 4 when it started to tank, though?
oh
Wasn't that
yeah,
the thing?
so it was like Flash season 1 through 3, where it was like Flash, Reverse Flash, Zoom, and Savitar. Savitar was kind of the fall off, and then they went
Yeah.
to the Thinker, and that was like and then Arrow, like the first like 3 seasons were really good,
Then they brought in
those were
Ra's
the only
al
ones
Ghul.
I could sit through.
and then
They brought in Ra's al Ghul, and it kind of tanked.
and then
I remember getting
Legends,
arguments about that one.
Legends season 1 and 2 I thought were good, and then I didn't even never start 3, and then Supergirl season 1 was meh to me. It was all right. I sat through it and watched it all,
was
but then
okay.
season 2 I was like, I can't. I was like, I watched up to where Jimmy Olsen got his shield, he became Legion's his name, right? Or is that right or no?
Guardian.
Guardian. Yeah, I watched up until that happened, then I stopped watching. I don't know why. That's where I stopped, but that's where I stopped. And then
I don't want to be that guy, but like, Jimmy Olsen's just a dude. It's like, he doesn't need to be more.
didn't he die in like
Yes, the first 5 minutes of Batman vs Superman, Jimmy Olsen gets bodied. He is shot, and it's also part of the plot point that makes no sense for the rest of the movie. Of like, Superman killed all those guys. Look at these bullets. See?
Yeah.
It's like, when does
Superman
Superman
use
use
bullets?
a gun? You know, Superman's gun vision. It's
go
a
go
shitty
gadget
plot
finger,
point.
and then you just shoot.
Go gadget gun.
Yeah, like you just fucking
It's like, you see him kill some guys, but they keep revolving
Murder.
around the bullets.
Go Gadget M9.
It's like the Ernie meme, and he's like, I had a guy try to sell me a 9, or he tried to sell me a 10, and I told him no. I already spent my money on the 9. That's Superman in that
Yeah.
movie.
Go Gadget. Like, get.
Anyway,
It doesn't make sense.
I thought we were gonna talk about.
We
Zack
weren't.
Snyder.
We
And
weren't.
someone said Jimmy Olsen, and I got mad. He's just some dumb ginger that works in a newsroom.
yeah, not some hot 6'4" man.
They get shot
Yeah,
in the middle of the desert.
Anyway, we're out of time for this week's episode of the podcast. Please make sure to leave a like if you haven't already. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Please make sure to go over if you don't want to watch on here. We are on Spotify.
Yeah,
so
we are.
that's pretty dope. Anyway, Wyatt will give you the secret word right now.
Superman's pal.
Do you want them to type Superman's pal? Or
One word.
Or do you want them to give us the answer for who is Superman's pal?
Yes, I don't care. It's the same thing.
Okay. Anyway, thank
you know
y'all
how
so
to use
much
a hyphen. I'll give you bonus points.
Thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye. What the fuck?